Hifi Rush proves that Forspoken is everything wrong with modern gaming. These two games came out one day apart, but they could not be more different. With Forspoken, you have an open world action game that has magical parkour, while Hifi Rush is a rhythm game where everything grooves to the beat of the universe. But the main difference between these two isn't their genre or what platform you can play them on. There's a couple key aspects we need to look at that separate Hifi Rush and Forspoken, and one thing that Forspoken's missing that really kind of doomed it from the start. So Forspoken's marketing campaign started in 2019 and it really ramped up in 2022 with tons of trailers coming out, showcases, dev streams. I mean, we're talking 3 to 4 years of Square Enix building up hype for this game that we really didn't understand. I didn't actually see that much hype from the community, but Square Enix made it seem like it was the next big thing. It seems humanity is doomed to repeat its past failures because they learned nothing from Cyberpunk's disaster. In the case of virtually every game that does not rhyme with Meldon Ding, it is not a good idea to hype it up to your audience because it will never live up to their expectations or their wild imaginations. It's like when you get really excited about ordering pizza for dinner, you start thinking about what kind of pizza am I gonna get? Where should I order it from? Should I get wings? What's the sauce on the wings? Do I get the dessert? Do I get salad? Of course you don't get salad. Do I get the breadsticks? By the time you actually get the pizza, you're so ready to have the night of your life. What are you gonna watch with the pizza? What are you gonna drink? Who are you gonna have it with? And then you actually eat it, and by the time you finish eating, you wonder why you ate so much pizza despite being lactose intolerant. And that's before you realize you're out of lactate. Look, humans are foolish. No matter what you tell us, we will expect something better. That's not fair, it doesn't make sense, but that's reality. I always think the pizza is just gonna work out fine. Another point for me, and I'm not sure if it applies to anyone else, is that the more I saw of Forspoken, the less I was interested in it. To go back to the bad pizza analogy that wasn't really working before, it's sort of like eating a pepperoni hot pocket before the pizza arrives. Like, you get the essence of the pizza and you feel just as bad, but it wasn't really as good, and now you don't know if you want the whole pizza anyway. The more the mystery of the game is unraveled, the less I want to investigate. I don't know why I make these really bad analogies. Really, the best course of action for this sort of thing is just have your initial reveal trailer, let us know the game exists, and then when it's closer to release time, maybe a couple weeks before, put out the launch trailer, let us know it's coming out so we can prepare our wallets, which are hurting badly right now. It's like that old acronym they taught us in kindergarten. KISSIS, or keep it simple, you stupid mega corporation marketing team. Now contrast this whole thing with Hifi Rush's reveal if you even managed to see it. It just, like that. Well, they didn't snap. I mean, it was fast. It was a very fast reveal. The Xbox event starts. Boom, here's a new game. Bop, here's some gameplay. Ka-chow. There's the developers showing off the game, and by the way, it's available today. Download it right now. I was still excited about the whole reveal. What are these visuals? What is this music? What's the beat? I'm feeling it in my soul. And then they shadow drop it on me. It's like, boom! RKO out of nowhere! You know what I mean? There wasn't even time to build hype for the game because everyone was running to download it. I'm not saying every game release needs to be like this. It would be chaotic if it was. We gamers need to be able to plan for our budgets, for our time, all of that stuff, and the companies need to be able to gauge interest for their projects. But it's so awesome to just be shown something fantastic looking that you want to play, and then be told you can play it right now. I mean, even if it was like, oh hey, here's this cool new game, play it next month. Okay, alright, fantastic. The hype can live that long. I'll be thinking all month like, man, I can't wait for that banger to come out. It's different when they show you a game and it's like, oh, this is the working title and we're in pre-beta alpha. What does that mean? When's it coming out? I don't know, come back in 4 years. I can't stay hyped that long. I don't even know if I'll be alive in 4 years. I'm tired of these super extensive campaigns where you get half a dozen trailers and there's commercials all over TV and it's on your Mountain Dew and it's on your Doritos. I'm talking about a certain series, I guess. And it's on the billboards and you go and there's, a developer showcase on the YouTube and it's 30 minutes long and there's, more gameplay and more details and they leak stuff and they purposely leak stuff. You start giving YouTubers and streamers early access 5 months ahead with the beta and it just gets out of control. We don't need all of that. But I feel like I'm rapping right now. Look, in the end, I just want to know what the game is about and when it comes out. I really am rapping. The second big factor here is the writing of these two games. It's like the East and the West. The North Pole, where Santa Claus is, and the South Pole, where Mr. Beast recorded that video. It's like Nacho Cheese Doritos fans and Cool Ranch fans. We will never get along, and I just blasted the microphone in your ears with that clap. Forspoken's writing is painful. Agony. I haven't experienced such grating on my ears since I took them to the shredded cheese factory. The main character Frey is constantly blurping at these zingers like, well, that just freaking happened, and I just moved. with my freaking mind.
Okay,
That is something I do
know.
now. Honestly, the dialogue in this game feels like it was written by a 47-year-old who thinks they're one of the cool kids in Gen Z despite having missed that train by a couple decades and Gen Z not being cool. They're just stupid. I'm one of them, unfortunately. An even deeper issue than the horrific dialogue is the writing of the world and the characters. I can't really explain why, but for whatever reason, the world feels fake in Forspoken. It's kind of like you're in a green screen room and someone's about to trip and knock it over and you realize you're just in a small concrete room with a studio and lights around you. The world feels like it exists only for the purpose of the game, as if it came to be right when you arrived. There's just a real shallowness to it that I can't seem to put my finger on, and frankly I don't want to, because analyzing this game is going to drive me insane. More than I already am, which may be a feat in its own. Maybe that's a feature of the game. Oh hey, if you weren't crazy enough, play this! We'll fix it for you. I have to keep moving my microphone further away every cut because I keep getting louder and I get excited and de-excited about this game. My script is in shambles. I'm just going everywhere. Alright, let's talk about Frey again. I have never seen a more dislikable main character in a game, period. She gets isekai'd from her miserable life in New York City, which is terrible on its own, into this fantasy world where she has superpowers. And she constantly complains. She continually acts disinterested in her surroundings to the point of actually getting in the way of the player trying to get themselves immersed in this world. Like, what's wrong with you? Do you have Stockholm Syndrome for living in New York? Do you not know how many of us would love to be isekai'd to a different world so we can start over from scratch and be the chosen one, for Pete's sake? Look, she's unrelatable and doesn't have any charm. There's no way for me to connect to her as a character. Even as bad as I am, I hope I wouldn't be that insufferable if I got given a second chance. This is honestly one of the few times where a silent protagonist is justified because anything would be better than listening to her talk. Now, Hifi Rush's protagonist is a dude named Chai, like the T, or Kai, K-pop guy, or that one add-on for Dragon Ball Z, who thinks he's a rock star. This dude accidentally drops his MP3 player into his chest during a surgery and it gets lodged in there like Iron Man's heart and sinks his body to the beat of the universe. You cannot make a character more immediately interesting than that. He's tapping his toes and beating up foes to the metronome of the cosmos. Add in the classic tale of the underdogs taking down the big megacorp that's trying to brainwash everyone, and somehow this cartoon-looking walking iPod Nano is more relatable than a teenager from America. Think about that one. And that really gets down to the root of the issue here, the thing that makes Hifi Rush absolutely shine and kills Forspoken. Identity. I had one look at the oversaturated comic book style of Hifi Rush and I was immediately interested in playing it. It stood out from all the modern games we have and really kind of looked like Jet Set Radio, which everybody wants a sequel to. Even people that haven't played it yet want a sequel. People that haven't been born yet want a sequel to Jet Set Radio. Then it has this unique gameplay which is like a mashup of Devil May Cry and BPM and Neo The World Ends With You. I mean, these developers had a crazy idea for a world they wanted to see and they went all in on creating it. No restraints, and they made something fantastic. You can feel the passion they have in there, the clear vision the director had. I could look through all 40,000 plus games on Steam and browse through everything on Xbox and not find anything like Hifi Rush. The same cannot be said of Forspoken. Open world games like this have flooded the market in the last decade. Check out my last video. What's the special sauce supposed to be here? It's not the magical action combat. We've had that before. That's not new. The world is super generic photorealism without any real art style. Admittedly, the dialogue is rememberable in the most terrible way possible. There's nothing for a player to sink their teeth into, not that I really want to bite a game, much prefer to just play it. It really feels like Square Enix asked ChatGPT to give them a blueprint for an open world game and they made it have even less personality and flair than the AI did. It's lifeless, rigid, has less narrative than a Dr. Seuss book, runs poorly on the PC and PS5, and has a main character whose personality soils what little enjoyment there could have been. And worst of all,